Hi, I am Niharika Nanda, and you are listening to Express Podcasts. In the fourth part of our 5-episode series in association with Central Square Foundation, we will talk about the fast-evolving world of artificial intelligence and the role it plays in shaping EdTech and how school children will learn in the future. Manifestations of generative AI in EdTech and education are manifold. From providing immediate and personalized feedback to teachers in the classroom to helping students grasp concepts more seamlessly, the positive role of AI in furthering students' learning outcomes is undisputed. This kind of technology can help EdTech providers process large volumes of material efficiently to generate lesson plans, quizzes, and other learning resources for meeting learning objectives of students. But at the same time, it's a very unexplored field in India. To help us understand the role of AI in making EdTech solutions more learning-friendly for students, we have Gouri Gupta, who is the Project Director for EdTech at CSF, and Swati Vasudevan, the Managing Director for Khan Academy in India. So Gouri, let's start with you. You have seen the evolution of the EdTech space for close to a decade now. We have seen the sector go through various stages from skepticism to rapid adoption during the pandemic. Now, with the AI technologies, what do you think the future holds for AI-powered education?
Thanks for that question, Niharika. I think there is so much excitement about these recent advancements in AI that have frankly unlocked capabilities that could really have a lot of potential to catalyze innovation in education, right? But we've seen that with a lot of tech in the past as well, where we've all been very excited, when MOOCs came in, when a lot of other new technologies came in on how it could revolutionize education. I think the way we think about it is to say that, look, what is the need in the system that the technology can help support or solve for? And I think that if technology is able to address that, and if AI is able to support with some of the big, wicked problems that we have in the education system, it will be able to catalyze education in ways never seen before. But I think what we need to guard against is not go AI or tech first, but go problem and system first, whilst not ignoring some of the new teaching learning experiences that can be introduced because of AI.
Right. And talking about the manifestations of AI, Swati, Khan Academy was one of the first organizations to release an AI-powered tutoring solution called Khan Migo, and it has gathered a lot of interest. So tell us the core problem that you are trying to solve with Khan Migo.
For some context, Khan Academy's mission has always been to provide a truly world-class education for anyone, anywhere. So in that context, and like always, we continue to find ways to do this in the best possible manner. And we feel that personalized assistance in learning and in teaching is going to shift that needle. Like we all know, Bloom's 1984 study has shown unprecedented gains when students are given one-on-one tutoring. And AI has the promise to unlock this at scale for all learners and all the teachers. So coming to Khan Migo, Khan Academy's AI tutor Khan Migo is a personal tutor for students. It is motivating, it solves their doubts, it has infinite patience, and it meets the student at their learning level. And that's a very important piece. In a classroom, as we know, students are at various learning levels and often many grade levels behind in their learning. They struggle to follow what is happening in the classroom. And that's where Khan Migo steps in to provide that personalized attention to the student and helps close the learning gaps for them. Come to the teacher is often burdened by non-teaching activities, and whatever teaching time is left, that's dedicated to completing the syllabus. And we feel that they deserve an assistant to make their lives easier, someone who can take over some of their burden and help them focus more on their students instead, so that they're spending more of their time working with the students, motivating and inspiring them, coaching and mentoring them, and teaching inside a classroom. That is what Khan Migo enables as a teaching assistant.
And Swati, can you elaborate a bit on how Khan Migo is designed to help students and teachers?
In simple terms, it's essentially an assistant for everyone. For teachers, it's a teacher assistant, and for students, it's a learning assistant in the form of a personalized tutor. So for students, the goal is definitely to personalize learning for each student and provide access to this truly world-class learning experience, whether it's from learning math to getting writing coaching to improving reading to figuring out college applications or counseling, but doing this with equal quality to every student, regardless of their socioeconomic background. Now, that's what's truly powerful. And as a personalized tutor, Khan Migo is Socratic in nature. It does not give out the answers. It guides and encourages the student to discover the answer instead through questioning and thinking. So it essentially serves as a true learning tool and not a crutch. It's cheerful and engaging. Khan Migo has infinite patience and is available 24/7 and 365 days, unlike a human tutor. It's truly knowledgeable in a true sense. It enables personalization for each student by understanding their interests and, more importantly, remembering those preferences, having access to their performance data from the Khan Academy platform, and providing learning through experience, for example, by talking to fictional or historical characters that come alive. So that's on the student side. For teachers, Khan Migo essentially frees up their time by fast tracking and almost outsourcing their tasks. For example, it streamlines lesson planning, rubrics and assessment generation, report cards. It simplifies students' learning level data from the Khan Academy platform also for the teacher, and it generates million different ideas of lesson hooks and activities. It helps the teachers revise anything they want to revise before a class. So Khan Migo also enables them to connect topics to real world situations for their students. So in essence, what I'm saying is that Khan Migo has been designed with the student, the teacher, and the administrator at the center of it.
Right, and you both shared insights into the need for AI to strengthen and enhance the teaching learning experience of children in the classroom. So Gauri, can you help us understand what shape can that take in the real world, and how is CSF thinking about this?
I think we have, a large portfolio of very exciting EdTech solutions. At last count, the number of EdTech solutions in the K-12 space was about 6,000. And we do believe that integrating different capabilities of generative AI into these solutions will be able to really enhance the personalization around these solutions, will be able to allow these solutions to generate content in multiple vernacular languages at a very fast rate that was difficult to imagine before, will allow these solutions to create personalized learning journeys for their children and to be able to engage their learners much better because of the introduction of capabilities like voice, etc. So we are excited about the potential of generative AI to enhance existing edtech solutions. But at the same time, right, as I was mentioning before, there is an opportunity to create new teaching learning experiences that may have been, frankly, very difficult to imagine. And there, I think in the context of what Swati was talking about, right, the personal tutor and, what Khan Migo is being able to do, I think is a very interesting use case to explore. I think the other one is at the Central Square Foundation. We work with multiple states around the Nipun Bharat mission in helping children get to foundational learning outcomes. And one of the key ingredients of an effective FLN program is teacher coaching. But we do find that because of limited bandwidth that the teacher coaches have, teachers are not necessarily getting the coaching at the frequency or at the level that will allow them to enhance their classroom instruction. But with AI, you are able to create personalized teacher coaches who will record a classroom, right? And this is just voice recording, not any form of video recording, and then be able to provide feedback to the teachers on practices that she was able to follow well in the classroom, things that she should do differently. The other example that I would like to bring in is AI-powered assessment-informed instruction. So, for example, if I am in a classroom and I give an assessment to my students and I figure that they are really struggling with addition or fraction, then I need to tailor my instruction going forward to first clarify this misconception or this issue that my children are facing. But that practice does not often happen within, a lot of school systems. And that is primarily because, most of the tests that happen or the assessments that happen are pen and paper. And hence, teachers may not be able to get feedback immediately to be able to inform their instruction going forward. But now with tech tools, AI-powered tech tools that include assessments around oral reading fluency, that include the ability to actually scan answer sheets and to be able to provide feedback based on what has been written, it is possible to tailor instruction. So I think these are some examples of the potential of using AI to improve the way in which education is being delivered in our school systems.
Right. And Gauri, can you expand on the fact that how does the AI ecosystem needs to evolve for it to be more relevant for education use cases?
Yeah, Niharika, I think we need some work on that, right? So the way we think about it is that there are some imperatives for the larger ecosystem, and then there are some imperatives for the product ecosystem. So on the larger ecosystem, right, I will encourage all of us to think about the following inputs, right? One is around just the availability of digital and compute infrastructure at the school level. Right. I think making this sovereign compute available to sectors such as education will be key to encouraging innovation in this space. The second point that we should consider is just the data sets and models. So today, these large language models are trained on vast amounts of data. However, in order to increase their accuracy on specific use cases, they need to be trained on specialized use case specific data, right? So, for example, we may need to put in dedicated efforts towards building education specific data sets and models. And then there is this very important piece around AI literacy training and capacity building, right? I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I do think that, as an ecosystem, we need to invest in initiatives that will build the knowledge and skills of users of AI integrated edtech. So that's on the ecosystem side, right? Around digital and compute infrastructure, data sets and models, AI literacy training and capacity building. And on the product side, right, I do want to encourage our product ecosystem to think about building AI technologies that are more accessible and inclusive for all our users, right? So, for example, making tools available in vernacular, offering voice-supported enablements in some of these tools will just make them more accessible and inclusive. And the other interesting point is around benchmarks. We need to create mechanisms to measure the progress of evolution of AI in the context of edtech, right? That means that we will have to create education-specific benchmarks that evaluate AI tools on their education-specific capabilities. So those would be some of the things that you would want the product ecosystem to evolve on further.
Right. And Swati, coming back to Khan Migo, it is currently available in the US. But if such a solution is to be deployed in a context where students and teachers are not as familiar with technology, for example, India, what is the effort that is required to ensure that the solution is adopted and used meaningfully? As even Gauri mentioned, teacher training. So maybe something of that sort?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's a very interesting question. And Niharika, as we all know, whether in the US or in India, generally speaking, access to world-class knowledge and educators is inequitable. So someone with privileged background or sometimes simply luck is likely to have easier access to better education, as we all know. Alexander the Great had Aristotle. Chandragupta Maurya had Chanakya. Even APJ Abdul Kalam got to work with Dr. Homi Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai. But the day is not far where any child could and should have access to an equally great tutor along with a world-class knowledge and learning platform. And I do think the two go together in some ways. All the students would need, like Gauri said earlier, is a device and internet connectivity. And of course, dedicated time for learning on a consistent basis. And that's true for even a non-AI setup. But here's another important aspect. Capacity building or training for any user working with AI technologies, especially children, is crucial. And Gauri alluded to that earlier as well. I can't overemphasize that enough. And we are deploying a few Khan Migo pilots around the world, including US, Latin America, Southeast Asian countries, and India. For example, just this past week, there were more than 20,000 active users of Khan Migo coming and using it almost every day. And more than 6,000 teachers and parents. 125,000 licensed pilot has just kickstarted in Brazil also. And in India, we're in the midst of a Khan Migo pilot in government school setting in the vernacular. What we've learned through all of this work globally is that training and capacity building for teachers, users, and administrators plays a crucial role in adoption and meaningful usage. This training, we feel, needs to be focused not just on how to use the technology, but also the limitations and risks of AI so that it's used responsibly. And I would say, lastly, awareness building for parents is also an important lever in driving adoption. So, just like with any other tool, especially a tech tool, meaningful adoption and use, according to me, is a behavior change, which takes time and handholding.
Absolutely. So, how does Khan Academy plan to roll out in India, and what factors are required for this to happen in the present education setup of government schools?
So, for government schools, we are piloting Khan Migo mainly to understand how it works in Indian classrooms, what teachers might like, what students like, which features are the most utilized, what support is required to set them up for success, and how Khan Migo works in a local language. And I think that's an important piece as well. We will scale to more regions as we see more interest coming from various governments. Government's investment in infrastructure, which is essentially working devices with internet and power, is definitely helping. Stakeholder buy-in will be crucial as well. Our decision makers at the government level, headmasters and teachers, even parents, they all need to be convinced of the benefits of this technology. But here's an often overlooked piece. Continuous support mechanisms need to be set up to resolve doubts and solve issues, etc., in real time, with exactly when the teacher or the student or the administrator needs that support. For example, Khan Academy runs a teacher support hub where a teacher can essentially call a number or WhatsApp for any help with the Khan Academy platform or Khan Migo for that matter from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. during school days. And that call is answered in their local language. So, in a nutshell, I'll say support to the user from every angle and in every way to help build the usage habit will define the adoption curve going forward.
Right. And when we talk about artificial intelligence, one major question that comes up is a concern over the safety and the privacy of the users of the AI related edtech technologies, and also the accuracy of the content generated by the AI tools. So, what are some of the mechanisms by which we can mitigate such risks, especially for end users such as children and teachers?
So, absolutely, Niharika, right? While the evolution of technology offers vast opportunities, it also poses the risks that you're calling out and the challenges, right? In our context, particularly for students, teachers, and society. And I just wanted to, briefly talk about this project that we've just started called AI Samarth. Project Samarth is intending to equip 5 million students, parents, and educators with the skills and awareness to use AI meaningfully. And this is a project that we are doing in partnership with Google.org. Right? So AI literacy as a way to empower users to use AI responsibly, I think becomes a critical one to handle some of the challenges that we are facing with the use of AI. I think the second one, which we find in the edtech ecosystem, is that unlike in the past, where even with rule based AI, we found that the content that we were dealing with in edtech solutions was largely static. So, how do you evaluate whether the edtech product is robust, accurate, and so on and so forth? In the last podcast, we had spoken a little bit about Tulna, which was a set of standards which defined what was good edtech. And I think it becomes imperative for us to think about expanding the Tulna standards to comment on generative AI and the output being created by generative AI in these edtech products as well. So I think creation of standards will also be a way in which we can drive the creation of more effective products.
Absolutely. And just to add to what Gauri was saying, Niharika, you're right. Hallucinating is definitely a challenge. And to some extent, it is solvable, but not entirely. For example, at Khan Academy, we've been able to improve math accuracy of Khan Migo more than we thought we could as compared to the native capacity of the LLM, the underlying LLM itself. Secondly, I would say training and linking to credible sources of information can also solve for quality of knowledge. For example, Khan Migo is connected to the Khan Academy platform itself, and it throws up content from our website, which is world class to begin with. And as I mentioned earlier, Khan Migo is designed to follow a Socratic approach, so all of that helps. Another one that comes to mind is Khan Migo has inbuilt mechanisms to provide teachers or guardians with information on students' interactions with the tool. And it also helps flag unsafe behaviors. And I feel that kind of transparency and trackability is essential for ensuring safety for students or any user for that matter. And I completely agree with Gauri that industry standards on privacy and security will also play an important role. Just like we humans aren't perfect, AI isn't perfect, and it's not going to be in the near future. The key, according to me, is to embrace the imperfection, harness AI's deep potential in solving for that equitable access to quality education that we're looking for, and do that while safeguarding users from its lacunae through a responsible and ethical product design.
You were listening to Gouri Gupta and Swati Vasudevan in the fourth part of our 5-episode series in association with CSF. If you want to listen to the first 3 parts of the series, the links for the same are provided in the description. This episode was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced and hosted by me, Niharika Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcast or write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.